For my daughter's 8th birthday, my parents mailed her a pink dress. She looked excited at first, but then suddenly froze. "What's this, Mommy?" she asked, holding the fabric with trembling hands. At first, I thought it was just the color. She'd never liked pink much, but the look in her eyes told me something else. It wasn't surprise, it was fear. The kind of fear that makes a child go silent. I forced a smile. "It's just a dress, sweetheart. Grandma and Grandpa sent it. Isn't it pretty?" She didn't answer. Instead, she turned the dress over and ran her fingers along the hem as if searching for something. Then she whispered, "It smells like that room." My heart sank. "What room, honey?" I asked gently. She didn't look at me. "The one with the lady who cries." My breath caught. She'd never said anything like that before. I laughed nervously, trying to shake it off. "Maybe it just smells like Grandma's house," I said. "They probably kept it in storage for a while." But my daughter didn't move. She was staring at something inside the folded fabric. "Mommy," she whispered, "there's a note." I frowned and reached out. A tiny envelope was pinned under one of the folds, barely visible against the pink satin. My hands felt heavy as I pulled it free. The handwriting on it was delicate, shaky, and far too familiar. It was my mother's handwriting, but the ink was smudged, as if it had been written in a hurry or through tears. I opened it slowly. Inside was a small card that simply said, "She's not safe with you." My vision blurred for a second. My heart started to race. Who's not safe? I stammered under my breath, rereading the words. My daughter looked at me, confused. "What does it say, Mommy?" I forced a shaky smile. "Just a birthday wish, baby. Nothing to worry about." But inside, I was shaking. My parents had never been cruel, but they had grown. Strange over the years. Ever since my father's stroke, they'd become distant, cryptic. My mother often talked about feeling watched, about voices in the walls. I'd written it off as stress, aging, maybe dementia. But this felt deliberate. That night, after my daughter fell asleep, I stared at the pink dress lying on her dresser. Something about it unnerved me, the way it seemed almost too new, too untouched. Like it had never belonged to anyone before and yet carried a strange weight. I picked it up, bringing it to my nose. It didn't smell like detergent or fabric softener. It smelled faintly of rosewater and something metallic underneath. I turned it over, checking every seam, every fold. And then I found it. Inside the lining, between 2 layers of fabric, there was a small stitched pocket. The thread was old and yellowed, but it had clearly been sewn by hand. I carefully unstitched it with a nail clipper. Something small and cold slipped into my pommel locket. Gold tarnished at the edges, heart-shaped. I opened it. Inside was a tiny photo of a little girl, dark curls, big brown eyes, maybe 6 years old. But not my daughter, and not me. On the opposite side, written in tiny faded ink, were the words, "Don't let her wear it." My pulse thundered in my ears. I didn't know if I should scream, cry, or call my parents right that second. Instead, I stared at the photograph again, then at the dress. Who was this girl? Why would my parents send something like this to my daughter? I couldn't sleep that night. Every sound made me flinch. Around 2 a.m., I got up to check on my daughter. She was asleep, but the pink dress was no longer on her dresser. It was hanging on the back of her door. I was sure I hadn't put it there. My hands trembled as I reached for it. But before I could touch it, my daughter stirred. "Mommy?" She mumbled sleepily. "Can she come out now?" My body went rigid. "Who, baby?" I whispered. "The girl from the room?" she murmured. She said she was cold. My heart stopped. "What girl?" I asked again, my voice barely audible. My daughter turned over and pointed toward the door or the dress. Her, she whispered, and fell back asleep. I couldn't move. For the next hour, I sat on the edge of her bed, watching the shadows shift across the fabric. At some point, I must have dozed off because I woke up just as dawn broke through the curtains. The dress was gone. I searched everywhere, closet, drawers, under the bed, nothing. I thought I was losing my mind. I rushed to my phone and called my parents. My mom picked up after 3 rings. "Mom," I said, my voice trembling, "what's going on with that dress? What did you send us?" There was a long pause. I could hear her breathing. Then she said softly, "You opened the pocket, didn't you?" My stomach dropped. "What is this, Mom?" I demanded. "Why would you send that to my daughter?" Another silence. Then she whispered, "I didn't send it to her. I sent it to you. To warn you." I froze. Warn me about what? Her voice broke. About her. Who is her? I asked, already fearing the answer. "The girl in the picture," my mother said. "The one who used to belong to that house." "What house?" I whispered. "Your house," she said. "The one you're living in now." My breath hitched. I felt dizzy. "Mom, what are you talking about? We bought this house last year. There's nothing wrong with it." She let out a quiet sob. "I tried to tell you before you moved in, but you wouldn't listen. You thought I was just being superstitious." "Tell me now," I demanded. "Who was the girl?" My mother took a shaky breath. "Her name was Clara. She lived there before you. Her mother, she couldn't handle what the house did to her. They said she disappeared, but..." My mom's voice cracked. "We knew she never left." "What do you mean?" I whispered. She hesitated. The dress was hers. My knees nearly gave out. I looked at my sleeping daughter, at her soft curls, her tiny hands clutching her stuffed bunny. "Why send it to us then?" I asked. "Because my mother said," her voice shaking, "she always finds another little girl. And I thought if we sent it back, maybe she'd stay with it." I felt sick. "Mom, that's insane," I said. This is a child's dress, not some cursed thing." But my mother didn't argue. She just whispered, "Has she tried it on yet?" I swallowed hard. "No," I lied. "Good," she said quickly. "Don't let her. Whatever you do, don't let her wear it." Then the line went dead. I stood there for a long time after the call ended, staring at my phone screen as if it might somehow explain everything. My mother's words echoed in my head, "Don't let her wear it." But the dress was gone. My daughter was still asleep, breathing softly, unaware that my entire body was trembling. I walked through the hallway, checking every door, every shadow. Then, from the laundry room, I saw something that froze my blood. The washing machine light was on. Slowly, I walked closer. And there it was, the pink dress spinning inside, soaked and clinging to the glass-like skin. I hadn't put it there. I opened the machine, heart hammering, and pulled it out. It was dripping wet, but not with water. The liquid was faintly red. My hands shook violently as I dropped it into the sink. I wanted to scream to wake my daughter and run, but before I could move, I heard a sound behind me. "Mommy?" Her voice was small, sleepy. I had a dream. I turned, my voice trembling. "What kind of dream, sweetheart?" She rubbed her eyes and smiled faintly. "The girl said thank you. She said she likes her new body." "Shh!" My heart stopped. What do you mean?" I stammered. My daughter giggled softly, but her voice sounded different, almost like an echo. She said she missed her mommy. She said she was lonely in the walls. Wanted to believe she was just talking nonsense, but something in her tone wasn't hers. Her eyes seemed darker, her smile too still. I swallowed hard. "Baby, you're scaring Mommy," I said gently. She tilted her head, watching me with a strange curiosity. I'm not trying to, Mommy. I just wanted to make her happy. She said if I wear her dress, we could play together forever. I froze. Where's the dress now? I whispered. My daughter blinked. I'm wearing it, she said softly. I looked down, and my breath caught. Somehow, impossibly, she was wearing the pink dress. I hadn't seen her put it on. I hadn't even seen it dry. But there it was, perfectly fitted, clean, and gleaming as if brand new. I reached for her, panic rising in my chest. Take it off, honey, please, I begged. But she just smiled, her eyes glinting strangely in the morning light. She doesn't want to, she said in a voice that wasn't hers. My knees went weak. Who doesn't want to? Clara. The name came out in a whisper so cold it made my stomach twist. I tried to grab her to unzip the dress, but the zipper wouldn't move. It was as if it had melted into the fabric. Sweetheart, please take it off. It's just a dress, okay? Mommy will get you another one. My daughter stared at me blankly. You're not my mommy. The words hit me like a blow. I stumbled back, tears flooding my eyes. Yes, I am, I said, my voice breaking. You're my little girl. She smiled then, but it was wrong. It was the smile of someone older, someone who remembered things she shouldn't. You're not her. My mommy used to braid my hair before bed. She used to sing by the fireplace. You're not her. My throat tightened. Clara, I whispered. The child in front of me tilted her head again, almost lovingly. You can see me now. The lights flickered, and for a split second, I saw two faces, my daughter's and another girl's. Pale, hollow-eyed, overlapping like a reflection in cracked glass. Then it was gone. My daughter blinked as if waking up from a dream. Mommy, she said, confused. Why are you crying? I couldn't answer. I just pulled her into my arms, holding her as tightly as I could. The dress felt ice cold under my hands. I decided right then I had to get rid of it. That night, after she fell asleep again, I took scissors from the kitchen and crept into her room. I was terrified of waking her, but I couldn't risk waiting any longer. I carefully tried to cut the hem of the dress. The moment the blades touched the fabric, my daughter gasped in her sleep. Her hands clenched, and she whispered, "Don't hurt me." My heart pounded. "It's okay, baby," I whispered. "Mommy's just fixing your dress." But when I looked down, I realized the scissors weren't cutting fabric. They were rusting. The blades had corroded in seconds, leaving brown stains on my fingers. I dropped them and backed away, trembling. Then my phone lit up on the nightstand. It was a message from my father. I hadn't even told him about the call with Mom. The message read, "Don't burn it. That's what she wants." My breath caught. I immediately called him, but he didn't answer. I called my mother next. This time, a man picked up. "Mrs. Lewis passed away 3 days ago," he said. "I'm sorry, who is this?" My stomach dropped. "That can't be right," I said. "I just spoke to her this morning." But he was silent for a long moment before whispering, "Ma'am? I don't know who you spoke to, but her body was found in her home with a letter beside her. It said she's coming for my granddaughter." The phone slipped from my hand. I don't remember what happened after that. I must have fainted because when I woke up, it was dark. The house was silent, too silent. I called out my daughter's name, but no answer. My heart pounding, I ran into her room. The bed was empty. The window was open. The pink dress was folded neatly on the pillow. On top of it was the gold locket, glinting in the moonlight. I picked it up with shaking hands. The photo inside was different now. It wasn't the girl with curls anymore. It was my daughter. I screamed, ran through the house, out the back door, into the yard. "Emma," I shouted. "Emma, please." The night swallowed my voice. Then, from the edge of the woods, I heard singing, a faint, high-pitched lullaby. The same tune my daughter always hummed before bed. I followed the sound, stumbling through the dark until I saw her standing beneath the old oak tree, the moonlight on her hair. She turned slowly as I approached. "Mommy," she said softly, "you found me." Relief and terror tangled in my chest. "Baby, please come home." She smiled. That same cold smile. "I can't." She said, "It's my turn to stay." "Stay where?" I begged with her. "In the room." Took another step forward, but she backed away. "Don't be sad, Mommy," she whispered. She said, "You can come too." She misses her mommy. I reached out, but before I could touch her, the wind howled, and every light in the house behind us went out. When I looked again, she was gone. I searched for hours, calling her name until my voice broke. When dawn came, the police arrived. They searched the woods, the creek, the house. No trace. They said maybe she wandered off. Maybe someone took her. Maybe I was too tired to remember things, right? But I knew. I knew what I'd seen. For weeks, I stayed in that house hoping for something, a sign, a voice, anything. Then one night, as I sat in her room clutching the locket, I heard a faint knock on the wall, 3 times. Then a whisper, "Mommy." My body froze. I pressed my ear to the wall. "Emma," I whispered. "It's cold," the voice said faintly. "Can I come out now?" Tears streamed down my face. "Where are you?" I cried. "In the room," she said softly. "The one with the lady who cries." I slammed my fists against the wall until my hands bled. Then the voice stopped. The next morning, I packed what little I could and left. I didn't care where I went, just away from that house, that dress, that voice. I buried the locket miles away in a churchyard and never went back. But sometimes, when I close my eyes at night, I hear her singing again the same lullaby, the same words. And I wonder if the pink dress still waits in that house, folded neatly, ready for the next little girl who dares to put it on. It's been almost a year since that night. Yet I still wake up at 3:07 a.m., the exact time she disappeared. I moved across the country, sold the house to a developer, changed my number, everything. But no matter how far I run, the past finds me. Sometimes I dream of her standing in a field of fog, barefoot, wearing that same pink dress. Her eyes aren't afraid anymore. They're calm. And she always says the same thing. "You're almost here, Mommy." I've tried therapy, prayer, medication, nothing helps. The dreams come stronger each time, pulling me closer. Last week, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Inside was a folded piece of fabric, soft, pale pink, and a small note. "You forgot this?" Her hands went numb. I burned it in the fireplace immediately, but as the flames turned blue, I heard faint laughter. The kind that only a child makes when playing hide and seek. And then, silence. The next morning, there was ash on the floor in the shape of 2 small footprints. I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, but deep down I knew what it meant. She wasn't gone. Not really. She had found a way back. Every night now I hear tapping from inside the walls, gentle at first, then desperate. Sometimes it stops near my bed, as if waiting for me to answer. I can't. Because part of me knows it isn't her anymore. It's what's left of Clara. And what's left of my daughter tangled together in something neither living nor dead. And yet, there are moments fleeting, fragile, when I feel warmth on my cheek, like a child's kiss. When I whisper her name, the air grows still, and somewhere, I hear her voice again. "I'm not cold anymore, Mommy. You can rest now." Maybe that's the curse. Maybe that's the mercy. Because last night, for the first time, I didn't wake up alone. I smelled rosewater. I felt small fingers lace through mine. And when I opened my eyes, the pink dress lay neatly beside me on the bed. waiting,